This is Alissa R. Jones, and you're tuning in to Survivors with Voices. And this evening, we are sitting with Valarie Trahan, and she is going to share with you her unapologetic truth. Valarie, please share with the viewers what your unapologetic truth is.
Thank you for having me, Alissa. At the age of 5 and 6 years old, I recall being molested by my stepbrother.
Wow.
And it went on for several years, I want to say up until the age of 7, until my mother divorced their father. Then, years later, their father actually attempted to sexually assault me when my mother was out of town. And it sent me on a search to try to find who I am and looking for love in all the wrong places over time. I didn't understand it when I attempted to tell my mom about the incident with their father. She didn't believe me, so I didn't want to share with her what happened to me at the age of 5 and 6. So I kept that buried inside for years, for a long time, up until now. I'm deciding to speak my truth.
Wow, that's amazing. And one of the things you said was looking for love in the wrong places. How do you feel that your abuse at the age of 5 and 6 to cause you to look for love in the wrong places?
Because at 5 and 6, I trusted my stepbrothers. I trusted them. I looked up to them. I always enjoyed going to play with them and things like that. And at the age of 5 and 6, I kind of thought, well, I think this is normal. I think it's not normal. I didn't know until I became of age to realize, hey, what they did to me, that was not right.
Right.
And as I got older, I just felt as though that's all anyone saw in me is what they had done to me. And I sought out that in my marriage. I shared it with my ex-husband now. What actually occurred, it put a very, very damper on our marriage because we couldn't, I'm sorry, and I can't, can I go back? I'm sorry. Can we stop right here?
You can continue to start.
She can edit.
Okay.
Look, I'm up here talking about her job. She can edit.
I married at a very young age. I looked for my ex-husband to make me happy. I looked for him to make me whole. I looked to him to be my protector. I looked to him to be my shelter. And going through what I went through at the age of 5 and 6, I didn't know. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't know what was right, what was wrong. So I had taken all of those things into my marriage, and it caused my marriage to blunder. We ended up divorcing, and when we divorced, I apologized to him once I found out who I was, and he didn't understand why I was apologizing because he thought he was doing everything right, and I told him, you were. At the same time, I was putting too much pressure on you and too much responsibility on you to either make me happy and to help me find out who I was.
So one of the things that I hear you say is when you talk about your ex-husband, you talk about how you sought for him to make you happy. What would you say to that viewer that is using the same mechanism of somebody making them happy to cover up the pain that may have happened to them at 5 or 6 or 10 or 12? What would you say to that viewer?
I would tell this viewer or all viewers, any woman that's going through what I've gone through at the age of 5 and 6, and you may have gone through it later time, that it's best to talk to someone. When I began to speak about it is when I started finding healing. When I started sharing my story and walking in my truth, then I started receiving all of the support and help that I needed. And for any woman that's married carrying that baggage, it's not your husband's responsibility. You have to let it go. You have to let it go. Because if not, then you'll find yourself floundering within your marriage, and it's not fair to your husband because he wouldn't understand why.
So I can't even imagine of all of the things that you went through that got you where you are today. But to really be at a point to where you are today, do you sometimes struggle with that 5 and 6 year old that you were when your abuse happened?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Being that I'm single, I still have those struggles sometimes. It's I would say it's the trick of the enemy to remind me of who I was back then, that 5 and 6 year old little girl that says, hey, continue to bring that into your next relationship.
Right.
Keep carrying it, keep carrying it. But God says, no, that's not who you are. I freed you from that. You've been made whole. You've been delivered. And honestly, I faced my brother.
Wow.
I faced my brother.
Walk us through that. Yeah, walk us through that.
When I faced him, I felt forgiveness. And I told him, I forgive you. And he didn't understand. He just spoke to me. And I just told him, and I looked him right in the face and I said, I forgive you. He still doesn't understand to this day, but I know now that I've been set free. So I don't have to take on that 5 and 6 year old little girl into my next marriage, into my next relationship, because God has restored me and He's shown me that He loves me in spite of it all.
Right.
And He's given me my identity.
I like that.
He's given me my identity.
I like that.
So therefore, my future mate doesn't have to carry that baggage. It's not my future mate's responsibility to make me happy, because I'm made happy and I'm made whole now.
Oh, I love it. So when you talk about forgiveness, and a lot of people don't understand that when you're talking about forgiveness, that forgiveness is actually for you. It's not for the other person. And a lot of people struggle with the piece of forgiveness. So with what you just said about your brother, talk to that viewer that has a problem with forgiveness and helping them understand that forgiveness is for them. It's not for the other person.
You have to forgive. I would say this. When you don't forgive the other person, it's like you having poison, wishing they would actually drink it, but you're drinking it. And you slowly killing yourself. You have to forgive.
Yeah. Because
you will not have a healthy you. You will not be a healthy parent. You won't be a healthy mate. You won't be good for anyone. It's not fair for anyone that you deal with and you say that you love and you care about, make them pay for what has happened to you.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And I know you're touching somebody right now with your story and your words and your testimony. But let's talk about that young lady that is an adult now and went through those situations at 5 and 6 year old. What would you tell her about unlocking her voice and speaking and encouraging other people to share?
For that 5 and 6 year old girl that feels like she's smothered, she can't move, she can't breathe, she feels like she's unworthy, let me tell you something. God says you're worthy. You're more than a conqueror. Yea, though you have walked through the valley of the shadow of death, you will never fear no evil, for God has always been with you. You will come out. You will be a victor. You are victorious. And I tell anyone that's listening to me, walk in your truth, because no one, not even the enemy, can use your truth against you.
I love it. I love it. And I just want to thank you for sharing your truth unapologetically. I know this took a lot for you to make this move and do this. But let's tell the viewers why they need to be at Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference.
You need to be at the conference because it's going to give you the ground, the atmosphere to set you free and be connected to all of the women that are survivors with voices. We gonna scream, we gonna praise, and we're gonna have an amazing time. And there's gonna be some deliverance, some yoke is gonna be broken.
Amen.
So therefore, you can walk in your truth. So make sure you're here at the conference.
Definitely. Y'all heard Valarie, and I'm telling you, she just said some stuff, and I mean some stuff. But you definitely don't want to miss the conference, Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference. And again, this is what Survivors with Voices is about.
Yes.
We help you use your testimony to empower the next survivor. Your story will change somebody's life.
Amen.
Somebody is waiting on you. So join us at Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference, September 23rd and 24th. Me and Valarie want to see you in a place. We want to love on you, and we want to show you the support that you've been missing. And a lot of times I hear people talk about the investment and the investment of the conference. But what I want to share with you is that investment worth your life? You've been living unhappy for so long. You've been hovering this truth for so long. That cost of the conference is nothing compared to your life. So join us at Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference, September 23rd and 24th.
We want to see you there.